Hey everybody, Card Dreamer here, real quick, giving you your first introduction. So, this discussion was recorded a few years ago with the founder and my one of my best friends and co-partner on this channel, Ash. Unfortunately, he passed away before D Class Derailed was able to make it off the ground. But this is something we had finished, and this was what was supposed to be the launch of the channel, and just things kept coming up. So I thought it would be really fun to share now that Derailed is kind of up off the ground, at least a little bit. And with the launch of the new podcast, I wanted Ash to be a part of it in some way. So not only is the new icon used for the podcast one of Ash's designs that we didn't use on the channel, but here he is in full glory, doing a discussion about Star Wars and people's receptions to the new Disney movies. At the time, this Rogue One had just come out, Force Awakens. Last Jedi wasn't out yet. At least I don't believe so. And of course, we didn't have the Rise of Skywalker. So Disney era was still a little fresh, and people were being very polarized on whether they like it or not. I do want to comment that some of my views I feel like have since been solidified and reinforced with the later stuff. Some of it maybe not so much. But either way, I thought it was still a good discussion. It would still be fun to take a listen to, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. Thank you very much. For those listening on YouTube, please leave your comments down below. For those listening to the podcast, feel free to send a message. Either way, thank you all for taking the time. So, ask yourself one question. What do you hate more, Porgs or Jar Jar? Welcome to our new channel called D-Class Derailed. You didn't want to be here, but you ended up here anyway.
It's going to be 10 minutes, probably longer of your life. He's the villain, the new villain of D-Class.
Yes, yes. I'm Card Dreamer.
I'm Ash.
And today's discussion video is going to be about Star Wars and whether or not the new Disney movies are that bad or is nostalgic ruining our point of view.
Nostalgic.
Nostalgic. It's D-Class. Grammar doesn't count.
That explains why we got a D on the report card then.
Exactly.
Anyway, personally, I love the original 3 movies. With like Luke, Obi-Wan, all that. It definitely set up an interesting flow into what essentially was an established universe at the time for like the movies themselves.
I agree. These are 3 movies that distinctly set up plot, character, and over time gave you character development, showed you relations, showed you how the greater galaxy worked, showed you everything, and people loved it. It was cutting edge for its special effects. Alec Guinness being involved was a huge thing back at the time.
It was ahead of its time in terms of a movie doing a trilogy. Back then, that was unheard of.
And everybody loved them. Yes, there was controversy with Return of the Jedi and the Ewoks. To those people, I say, go crawl under a rock.
He's a big fan of Ewoks.
There will be an Ewok hanging from your tree when you wake up in the morning. So anyway,
concerns. Anyway, so would you say that the original 3 movies are that great, or that our nostalgia of those movies are killing the rest of the franchise?
And you may be going, well, they're that great. Fair. But at the same time, let's look at all the controversy. Let's look at everything that's happened from those movies.
I want to go to the prequels first off. That's where I want to start with this one. So, regardless of which director directed the movie, I don't think anyone's going to be happy with them.
It's true. And we had our trilogy. Everybody, for better or for worse, loved it. We always wanted more movies.
Mm-hmm.
For years, we never got them. We had books, we had comics, we had all these. We had toys that all added lore.
One sec. Bring the expanded universe back. Okay, moving on.
Legacy era.
Yes.
But then finally come 1999.
Something like that.
George Lucas releases Episode 1. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody's hyped for it. We see the music video for Duel of the Fates. We see trailers. Oh my gosh, people are lining up around the block to get tickets, to get in the movie theater. You're naming your firstborn Luke, your secondborn Leia, and you sold the third one because they only had twins. But
that's a real villain at work. You can tell he's done this before.
It's true. And you saw the movie, and everybody was coming out going, "What did I just see?"
And I think two of my biggest reasons for that were midichlorians. I was not happy with that explanation for the Force. That was one of my biggest issues. And I felt like Jar Jar being a comic relief was all right, but just way over the top.
And that's fair. We're not here to discuss who's right or wrong, per se, but to look at the different facts. Those were the two biggest complaints of the prequel era.
Mm-hmm.
I also heard complaints back at the time of Episode 1. Well, this doesn't tie into A New Hope. Well, no crap, Sherlock.
This
it
is
was
way
part
ahead.
1.
Yeah. You don't expect part 1 to go all the way to part 3 immediately.
Yes.
This is not make your own adventure book, people.
And as the prequels went on, sure, people will tell you they got better. To up to Episode 3 being, most will say, was entertaining or watchable. And then fast forward to the Disney era, and
we got The Force Awakens.
You get The Force Awakens, which people
Last
are okay
Jedi.
with. Yeah, people are okay with The Force Awakens. It was kind of a retreading of A New Hope.
It basically was A New Hope, just different time period, essentially.
And it was too lighthearted.
It was.
It made fun of itself for being a rehash. And then you had Rogue One, actually.
Which was a really good movie, in my opinion.
I thought it was okay. It was entertaining.
I think it was better than Force Awakens, personally.
Well, that I will not argue. I do believe it was better than Force Awakens.
Now, mind you, our opinions are just our opinions. Please do tell us what you think in the comments below. This is an open discussion.
However, being a villain, I will declare myself right above you.
I gotta put up with this every day. This is how he normally is, mind you.
It's true.
Not on the channel, just daily life.
I'm right. So, my first issue with Rogue One is it was a rehash of old territory. There was already 2 to 3 stories of where the Death Star plans came from. I did not need another one.
Yes, but we didn't have it in cinema as much to that extent.
You didn't have it in cinema.
We had it in books.
You had it in books. You had it in the first Dark Forces video game.
But mind you, how likely was Hollywood, or at this point Disney, wouldn't actually go to the expanded universe that they said was no longer canon? Just saying.
You're right. They would never do that because then you had pretty much Kylo Ren, who was a rehash of old plots from that universe they didn't want to deal with. But
now, mind you, we're not hating on the actors or anything.
Nope.
We're hating on arguably just the certain ideas in this. I love Kylo Ren as an actor. The guy who plays him is phenomenal. I love his little little skits he does in his off time. They're just hilarious to me. But Kylo confuses me.
He does. And we're not sitting here trying to review all the movies and just per se bash them. The greater point here is that people complained when George Lucas did any more movies after the original.
Mm-hmm.
And we're complaining now with Disney doing them. But is Disney really worse than the prequels? Are the prequels worse than Disney?
Is it just
Are they really cinematically that much worse than the original trilogy? Is our nostalgia for these movies that had not been topped for years blinding us from seeing these movies for what they are, and instead we're so caught up in what we want that we can't get past it?
So here's something I want to bring up is progression. Progression of the movie's flow. With the first three movies, nothing was necessarily settled at the end of the first two until you got to the third one. And because of that, it just had a natural flow of progression from a build up of him of Luke learning how to be like a Jedi, learning the old ways and learning how to fight and everything. Along the way, nothing felt set in stone.
Well, interesting is like right now, that's actually not true. The first movie had a resolution. A New Hope, and intentionally done so, is set up to be a standalone movie.
Right, but I mean in the sense that like you feel there's much more coming afterwards.
But you don't. They destroyed the big scary death weapon, like planet killer weapon. You think as far as you know, Vader was pretty much gone and out of the picture. All the biggest threats were done. Your heroes were celebrating, and it wasn't until the sequel that came along and painted all our heroes into a corner and ended with them lost and confused and having to collect themselves that you realize now there's greater story to be told.
And that's something we're not getting with, say the new movies.
But you are. Thematically, that's what I'm saying. Think about it. Episode 1 ended on the victory of over the Trade Federation and everything else. The discovery of Anakin. A Force Awakens ended with the victory over the Star killing thing, whatever the heck it was called.
Star Killer
Base. They all end in...
Get your facts right.
Those aren't facts. Those are alternative facts.
But continue. I'm sorry.
They're all ending. They're all following the same thematic patterns as the original trilogy. Go back to the prequels. Clone Wars ended in a dark time with the start of the Clone Wars. Jedi died at Geonosis. Like a lot of Jedi died.
Not Mace Windu. Mace Windu whooped some butt.
You don't. Yeah. You don't touch Samuel L. Jackson until he's ready.
I was so upset that his character died.
Did he?
Spoilers!
Did he?
Exactly.
Or did he just say, dude, there ain't room enough for Samuel L. Jackson and a Sith Lord?
That's fair. I mean, look, if you gotta choose Samuel L. Jackson or a good Sith Lord, it's pick your poison.
For the sake of the movie, Samuel had to go, okay, I'll step down.
Like, otherwise it's just gonna be like, okay, just Mace Windu with the purple lightsaber just doing whatever the hell he wants. But that aside, that's what I mean about progression. The first three movies did it in a way where, like, it was new, it was fresh, it was something completely out of the blue. Now we're getting kind of like that with the new movies, and I feel like that's one of the biggest complaints is the fact that it is basically rehashing the first three.
New Disney, yes, but the prequels did not follow.
No, this is true, but I'm just saying as the new movies.
This is true. However, Lucas is not the first one to go with that pattern. Now, granted, he was the first one to do it. Maybe I won't say he's the first one. He's the biggest one right now to say he did it cinematically, but he borrowed a lot from other sources, including Tolkien, and that brings in the Lord of the Rings and the books, and they had the same thematic pattern. So, again, why all of a sudden is it not working for the prequels or the new movies? Why are we all constantly hating on the movies and saying everything is worse than what came before?
Exactly. And that's kind of the point of this video is it nostalgia or the movie's just generally not good? And, like, yes, I have my gripes to certain movies. Jar Jar, midichlorians, Leia in The Last Jedi. I actively try to avoid that one specifically because may she rest in peace. But the point is, there are just some things that just either don't need to be there or just don't make sense. Like, I recently got in a discussion with my one friend about the midichlorian thing. There is an actual book about a species that is able to block the Force. Now, with the midichlorians written in there, that makes sense on a biological level, which actually works well for the story. But we don't see such a species in the movies at all. It's not really expanded upon from there. We know of them, but nothing else.
And this is fair, however, we also have to keep in mind you'll never get 100% answers from a movie because they're under a time constraint. And Star Wars did lend itself to an expanded universe in which these things can be explored.
And yet we don't have it anymore, which is one of my biggest issues because There are certain stories that need to be expanded upon.
And I agree. And while I hate pretty much 99% of everything Disney has done with Star Wars personally, they have done something interesting in far as midichlorians. Indirectly.
Oh,
With the new novelization for The Last Jedi. And that is
I've not
they
read
have
this.
officially confirmed that Rey is another Virgins in the Force like Anakin.
Hmm.
Whether she was immaculately conceived by them is not specifically stated, but she's a Virgins in the Force, which means the Cosmic Force, which they establish as canon, which is the greater of the Force, meaning in the broader term, the more encompassing of the Force, uses the midichlorians for its greater plans. When something's out of balance, it uses the midichlorians to execute or to bring into existence or to bring about somebody who can bring it or will bring it back into balance. Hence, Anakin Skywalker, and now, according to Disney's bullcrap, Rey.
So you know when you throw a pebble into a pond and you see the rings expand out? Yeah. The midichlorians are the smallest one. The cosmic force is the big one that does kind of like, okay, listen here, so and so, curse words, all that stuff, asterisk, pound sign, whatever, and just do this.
And that, well, don't forget there's the living force that Qui-Gon followed.
This is also true. Qui-Gon was too good for this world.
He was.
I enjoyed Qui-Gon.
May he rest in peace. So, the books, Star Wars was great for that type of stuff. And yes, I do think things needed to be addressed more. And don't get me wrong, all the movies have some logic plot holes to them. Even the original trilogies have its logical plot holes.
Oh yeah, that's why we try to avoid those specifically. Just for the fact that like if we were to go into those, this would be a much longer video. If not, this would be a multi-part video. We're also avoiding the animated series for a different discussion of itself, and we'll leave that as a teaser at the end. In my opinion, I enjoy the new movies cinematically, in terms of what they're doing. Plot wise, I could take it or leave it. I still find them enjoyable though.
Yeah, I don't care for the new movies at all. Really, the best part of Rogue One was the last 20 seconds with Vader just kicking the crap out of all the rebels.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Look, Vader is forever established as one of the best Sith Lords, in my opinion. He's just natural badass.
He is. And even the biggest complaint people had about Vader in that movie was the play on words he had in the middle of the movie when he told what's his name to not choke on his aspirations after Force choking him. People complained about that. And I'm like, now, Vader is not devoid of a personality.
No.
And Anakin and Obi-Wan joked a lot
Oh,
in the
yeah.
prequels.
There's going to be a little bit of that personality just kind of rubbed off on him in some way or another. Just mind you, this is dark humor now.
But it also had a point underlying it.
Oh, yeah.
Piss me off, I'll choke you.
He's like, I'm not afraid to choke a bitch out.
No, he's not. And so,
Is it really just the movies being bad as the people believe them to be, or is it nostalgia kind of getting in the way? And we're talking about in a broad sense, not as in like specifics like plot holes, certain characters, certain things that were expanded upon in the written universe. We left the majority of that out. We did bring it up for certain points, but as a broad picture on the movie screen with like multiple videos going up at once, what is your opinion about this? Do you think that the first three movies are truly as great as people believe them to be, and the new ones are just bad, or that something else?
or are you just blind by your own silly pre-notions of what the movie should be? We all want certain things to be shown in the movie. People, when episode 3 came or was rumored and talks, people were upset that there wasn't more of Anakin in the actual Vader suit hunting down and killing the Jedi. Well, this isn't about the Purge. This was about the rise of Darth Vader.
I would like to see that though.
granted, would love to see a Purge movie with Vader hunting down remaining Jedi.
I mean,
I don't think Disney would do it. It would be
no.
too dark.
It would be too dark. I mean, one of my favorite characters of all time, and this is going to be this is that second video we were talking about before, and we're getting towards the end here. Thrawn. Thrawn is one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time.
May he rest in peace.
Yes, may he rest in peace. Because
So many people we've lost.
we lost so many good characters, so many good books. General Universe that was written retcons. But Thrawn is one of my favorite characters. I would love to see an entire trilogy based off the books, but we're not going to get that. So we had to settle for the animated series, which is going to be our next discussion video. Was Thrawn used right or wrong? But the point stands that there's a lot of little misconceptions about these movies, and people can have their gripes, and people are totally entitled to it.
And we're not really saying these movies are better or worse or equal to the originals. We're just trying to open up the discussion or the thoughts and chip away at that nostalgia glasses that you're wearing. And just to test, take them off for a second and just having an unbiased look. Are they really as bad? If they are, in your opinion, then they are.
Look, I will take a chisel. I will etch in a smiley face on that glass for nostalgia right there, just to get the point across.
And they say I'm the villain.
Look, we're on your channel. I'm going to get a little dark here. I might have to go Batman here.
No, you are not cool enough to be Batman.
Look, I can hope and dream, can't I?
Not on this channel. Anyway, people, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And
We're going to end it here.
Tell us what your thoughts are, please. We definitely want to hear this one. This is one of my favorite discussions.
Yes, leave your comments down below. Tell us what trilogy did you think was the best, why, and do you really believe that these other movies are really that bad, or do you agree that it may just be nostalgia glasses?
Do you think that the original three are just pristine, can't be touched at all? Or do you think that Disney is actually doing something good with the direction they're going? Tell us below. Let's have a talk.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm Ash, the D-Class Hero.
I'm Card Dreamer, the D-Class villain.
This was Derailed. We'll catch you in the next one.